Hello, vanakkam pasangala. Naan ungal Arsha ma'am. So today I will explain a very important chapter that is Plant Kingdom. This is your chapter 3. Yes, paklama. So, you know, Plant Kingdom, a very big kingdom. Okay, we already discussed this in the previous class in our second chapter, biological classification. Plant Kingdom is a part of the five kingdom classification. You know, R.H. Whitaker classified all the organisms around us into five types like Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Plantae. That plantae is called the plant kingdom. So the sole members of plant kingdoms are plants. What a question is this? Plants are the sole members of plant kingdom. Okay, so here we have some characteristic features of plants. Plants are mostly eukaryotic. What do you mean by eukaryotic? It has a well-defined nucleus and other cell organelles. Okay, and plants are multicellular. It is made up of more than one cell. Many cells are present in it. Chlorophyll is the pigment which is present only in plant. We know plants are the only organism which is in our earth who are capable to perform photosynthesis. So it needs chlorophyll for doing that function. Okay, and plants are containing a cell wall. It has a cell wall. The rigid, the outer covering of plant cell, that is called the cell wall. Plant kingdom. Okay, these are the major characteristics features of plant kingdom. Okay, and we have to study about artificial system of classification, natural system of classification, and phylogenetic system of classification. This is just an introduction for you. Artificial system of classification. What is that artificial system of classification? Pasangala, here we have to learn about the morphological features. Okay, the classification which is based on morphology. Morphology is called artificial system of classification. This is a very ancient system of classification. And the second one is natural system of classification. Here we are considering, other than morphology, we are considering cytology. Cytology, what is that? Cytology. Cytology. The science which deals with what? Chromosome number, cell type, etc. That is called the cytology. So, in natural system of classification, we are considering morphology, cytology, embryology, okay, embryology, and some evolutionary connections also. And the most advanced type of classification is phylogenetic system of classification. That is phylogenetic system of classification. Phylogenetic system of classification. Here we are considering the evolutionary relationship. What is that? Evolutionary relationship. This is the most accurate, and currently we are using this classification for classifying plants. Clear? Yes. Other than this, for the classification of plants, we are using some taxonomy, that are numerical taxonomy, cytotaxonomy, chemotaxonomy. Numerical taxonomy means here we are using computer. Here we are using computer. So use computer by assigning code for each character and analyzing the features. When it comes to cytotaxonomy, it is based on psychological informations like chromosome number, structure, and behavior. Okay, and what about chemotaxonomy, Pasangala? Use chemical constituents of plants. Use the chemical compositions for classifying plants. This is the introductory part that you have to study. Okay, again, we are starting our topic, plant kingdom. Okay, plant kingdom. So, all the plants around us is classified into two broad category. The first one is cryptogamy, second one is phanerogamy. These are the categories. Okay, first one, cryptogamy. Based on the presence or absence of seed. Based on the presence or absence of seed, we just classified this plant kingdom into two types. Okay, cryptogamy, plants without seeds. So cryptogamous plants don't have any seed inside in it. Okay, and what about phanerogamy? Plants with seeds. It has seed in it. Again, the cryptogamy is further classified into three types, that are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. And when it goes to phanerogamy, it is classified into gymnosperms and angiosperms. So, Pasangala, in this session, we have to cover all these things. Okay, we have to study about Thallophyta and its characteristics. its types, and Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms, and Angiosperms. Ready? Yes. So, what do you mean by Thallophyta? What do you mean by Thallophyta? What is that? Thallophytes. Thallophyta. What is that? Thallus. Thallus. What do you mean by thallus? The plant body which is not differentiated is called thallus. So, Thallophyta means the plant which is not differentiated into root, leaf, and stem. Algae is one of the major examples for it. What is that? Algae. Repeat it with me. The name algae is one of the major example for thallophytes. Paklama? Algae? Start panlama? Algae. This is a picture of algae. Hi, what a beautiful image. Okay, Vasangala? Yes, so algae. The simplest plants. So, algae can be considered as a plant. It is the simplest plant which possesses undifferentiated or thallus-like form. So, its body is not differentiated into root, shoot, or stem. Okay, so its body is undifferentiated and algae. So, algae are known as thallus-like structure. The structure of algae is thallus-like and it is unicellular. Most of them are unicellular. Unicellular means only one cell is present in their body, and sometimes we can be seen as in colonial forms, filamentous form, and as in parenchymatous form also. Okay, these are the specialities of algae. Usually, algae is aquatic. It can be seen in water. Sometimes it is present in moist terrestrial habitat like tree trunk, wet rock, moist soil, etc. Clear? Yes, algae don't have any vascular or mechanical tissue. What do you mean by vascular tissue? Vascular tissues are the tissues which present in higher level of plants for conduction of water and food materials. That is not present in algae, and mechanical tissues like sclerenchyma, collenchyma, that are also not present in algae. And the reproduction is vegetative. Reproduction, three types of reproduction is present in algae, that are vegetative, asexual, and sexual. Okay, vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Do you know what is fragmentation? Suppose consider this is this is an algae, and yeah, this algae is fragmented into different units. Each and every unit again divided into a whole algae. That process is called fragmentation. So, algae is reproduced by fragmentation. And when it comes to asexual case of reproduction, spores will form. The zoospore, the motile zoospores will form. And in the case of sexual reproduction, the fusion of gametes will occur. Fusion of two gametes, the male and female gamete will occur. Sometimes the gametes are similar. Okay, it is very similar to when we are looking to a to gametes that are similar, that can be termed as isogamous. Okay, that gametes are isogamous. So the gametes of algae are mainly isogamous, and anisogamous algae gametes are there. Other than that, oogamous gametes are there. Yes, anisogamous means it is dissimilar. Oogamous means the female gamete is non-motile and very large one. Okay, and the male gamete is motile and it is very small, very small, like human beings. Clear? Okay, so these are the examples. Isogamous gametes are present in Spirogyra, anisogamous Chlamydomonas, oogamous Volvox. These are the examples. Next, the life cycle. Life cycle will varies in algae. Haplontic, diplontic, diplohaplontic life cycle can be seen here. I will explain it. What is haplontic, diplontic? I will explain it. Okay, so algae is of three types based on the pigments present in it. Based on the pigments. What do you mean by pigments? The color giving part. Okay, so based on the pigments present in it, algae is of three types: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae, that I wrote it in green color. So from that it is very clear. Chlorophyceae is already known as, or also known as, green algae. Rhodophyceae, what is the other name? Red algae. Phaeophyceae, what is that? Brown algae. Yes, Chlorophyceae or green algae. This is the image of green algae. Yeah, from the picture it is very clear. The algae are in green color. Okay. Yes. So green algae are mostly freshwater. These algae can be seen in freshwater and these are subaerial. These are subaerial. These can be seen in freshwater. These algae are abundant in unicellular forms. It is also very important. These algae can be seen as in unicellular format. Okay, most of these algae, green algae are unicellular. Unicellular means only one cell is present in it. Green algae have chlorophyll A and B. So, what are the pigments present in green algae? That are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. These are the pigments present in green algae. And the food material stored in the form of starch. The reserve food material, that is starch. In green algae, the food material is stored in the form of starch. Cell wall composition. The cell wall is made up of cellulose. Most of the plant cell wall is made up of what? Cellulose. Cellulose. This is also very important. Chlorophyllaceae, the green algae, the cell wall of this green algae is made up of cellulose. And here we have to discuss about accessory pigments. Guys, do you know what is accessory pigments? Some pigments like carotenoid, xanthophyll, these pigments will never directly involved in photosynthesis, but it helps the chlorophyll A pigment. Okay, that kind of pigments is called accessory pigment. Fucoxanthin is one of the accessory pigment, but it is not present in green algae or chlorophyllaceae. Clear? Yes. Next, spores. I already told you asexual reproduction is happening in algae. So, zoospore, the motile zoospore is present for asexual reproduction, and these are the major examples like Chlamydomonas, Ulothrix, Spirogyra. These are the, here you can see this one, Ulothrix, Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra. These are the major examples for chlorophyllaceae or green algae. Is that clear for you, Basingala? Okay. Move panlama. Yes. Next, we have to study about the brown algae that are called Phaeophysae. What is that? Phaeophysae. They are mostly marine organisms. They are mostly marine. Marine means it is not present in fresh water. It is only present in where? It is only present in marine water. Okay. Yeah, so these are mainly marine organisms and they lack unicellular species. Okay, so most of the Phaeophysae algae are what? These are multicellular and it contains the pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. These are the pigments present in Phaeophysae or brown algae. Chlorophyll A, very important. Chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. These are the pigments present in brown algae. Clear? Yes. And the reserve food material is laminarin. Laminarin. The reserve food material is laminarin. Laminarin is the reserve food material. So what is the reserve food material of green algae? Please comment. What's that? Starch. When it comes to brown algae, it is laminarin and their cell wall contains cellulose and algin. Okay, this is the composition of brown algae cell wall. Cell wall of brown algae is made up of cellulose and algin. Major examples of brown algae are Fucus, Sargassum, Ectocarpus. These are the major important examples for brown algae. Fucus, Sargassum and Ectocarpus. Here you can see the image of Fucus, Sargassum. Okay, these are some examples of brown algae. Clear? Yes. Next is Rhodophysae or red algae. Rhodophysae or red algae. It is also marine. Okay, it is also present in marine water. It is also marine. They contain chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D. So, in the case of brown algae, chlorophyll A and C is present here. But when it comes to red algae, chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D. These are the pigments present in red algae. And one more pigment is there which will give the red color to this algae. That is called phycoerythrin. What is the name of that pigment? phycoerythrin. So phycoerythrin is the pigment which will give the red color to the red algae. Clear? And their reserve food material is Floridian starch. Floridian starch is the reserve food material. In the case of Phaeophysae or brown algae, laminarin is the reserve food material, and for green algae, starch is the reserve food material. But when it comes to red algae, Floridian starch is the reserve food materials. And here you have some examples of red algae that are Polysiphonia, Gelidium, Porphyra. These are the major examples of red algae. Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gelidium. Hi, what a beautiful pictures. So these are the major important classification of algae. So Pasangla, algae are of three types. What are they? Chlorophysae, which is in green color, Phaeophysae in brown color, Rhodophysae in red color. These are the major important classification of algae. Now we have to go through the economic importance of algae. What are the economic importance of algae? A number of brown algae like laminaria and sargassum are used as food in some countries. So, laminaria and sargassum can be used as a food material. Okay, it is also used in some countries. And fucus and laminaria are rich sources of iodine. This is also very important. Laminaria and fucus are rich source of iodine. Laminaria and ascophyllum have antibiotic properties. What is antibiotic? The medicine that we are using against bacteria are termed as antibiotic. So, laminaria and ascophyllum can be used as an antibiotic. Okay, it has antibiotic properties. Okay, Baba Sangla? Without doubt, Anika? If you have any doubt, please feel free to comment in the comment box. Yes. Next, alginic acid is obtained from fucus and sargassum, which is used as emulsion also. So these are the major important economic importance that we have to study. Clear, Pasangla? Yes. Shall we move to the next thing? What is next? What is next? What is next? Yes. We already discussed the Thallophyta, which is comes under a cryptogame. Now we have to move to the Bryophyta. Bryophyta. It is also a part of cryptogame. Okay, bryophytes. Bryophytes are commonly known as the amphibians of plant kingdom. Amphibians of plant kingdom. They are non-vascular Pasangla bryophytes. I will show you the images of bryophytes. These are the images of bryophytes. These are the images of bryophytes. Yeah, I will introduce bryophytes. So, bryophytes, these are very, very important because it is known as the amphibians of plant kingdom. They need water for their sexual reproduction, but they can live in soil. That's why we termed as bryophytes into amphibians of plant kingdom. Okay? Amphibians of plant kingdom. Why we call them like that? Because plants live on soil but depend water for sexual reproduction. Bryophytes, they are non-vascular. Vascular tissues are absent in bryophytes also. Liverworts and mosses are the different types of bryophytes. Mostly, bryophytes will live in moist, shady region. Moist, shady region. Clear? Yes. So, it is present in damp, shady habitat found to grow during rainy season on damp soil, rocks, walls, etc. The dominant phase of plant or plant body is free living gametophyte. So, it's this is the major important another point. The dominant phase of the plant body of bryophyta is gametophyte. What do you mean by gametophyte? The plant body will be haploid. The chromosome number only one set of chromosome is present in it, so that it is called the gametophyte or it is haploid. Roots are absent but contain rhizoids. Pasangla, in bryophytes it is also not that much differentiated, but it is better than the Thallophyta. Okay. Bryophytes are better than Thallophyta but not that much differentiated. So instead of roots, rhizoid, the structure rhizoid is present in bryophyte. And the vegetative reproduction is done by fragmentation, tubers, gemme. Gemme, ende amme. We will study it, don't worry. Gemme, buds, etc. So, bryophytes, vegetative reproduction is done with the help of or by fragmentation, tubers, gemme. Sex organs are there. Sex organs are multicellular. Many cells are present in sex organs and they are jacketed. Jacketed means it is protected. It is protected inside a group of cells. Okay, so bryophyte sex organs are multicellular and they are jacketed. The male sex organ of bryophyte is termed as antheridium. What is that? Antheridium. The male sex organ is called antheridium and the female sex organ is called archegonium. Archegonium. And antheridium produces biflagellate anthrozoid. In human beings, the male sex organ testis will produce the male gamete sperm. Like that, in bryophyte, the male sex organ antheridium will produce a gamete anthrozoid which has two flagella in it. Two flagella. This is a flagella. Okay, two flagellas are present in, so that it is called biflagellate. Biflagellate. And when it comes to female sex organ, archegonium. The name of the female sex organ is archegonium. It's a flask-shaped structure. It produces a single egg. Okay, yeah, I will show the image. Look at this picture, my dear students. Look at it. Yes. Here you can see the young leafy gametophyte. This is the gametophytic body. This is the gametophytic body of bryophyte. Okay. And from this you can see this part, the antheridium, the male sex organ. And these two are the male gamete, anthrozoid. See this? Here you can see some flagella, two flagellas. Okay, flagella. So that it is called biflagellate. And this is the structure, the flask-shaped structure of archegonium. This is the flask-shaped structure of archegonium. And the egg is produced inside this archegonium. You should remember these points. Yeah. Next, here we have a point. Sporophyte is depend on gametophyte for nourishment. So guys, do you have any idea what is sporophyte and what is gametophyte? In bryophytes, what is sporophyte, and in gametophyte, I will explain. Okay, so sporophyte. Sporophyte means the sporophyte is a diploid, that is 2N phase, meaning its cells contain two sets of chromosomes. So sporophyte is the plant body which contains two sets of chromosomes. So that it is called diploid. Sporophyte is mainly diploid because it contains two sets of chromosome. It is the asexual phase of plant's life cycle. So sporophyte is a asexual phase. It is the asexual phase of plant's life cycle. The sporophyte produces haploid spores. This diploid sporophyte will produce haploid spores. Haploid spores. By the process meiosis. You know meiosis. What is meiosis? What is meiosis? It is the reductional division. Also, from a diploid sporophyte, with the help of meiosis, four spores, the haploid spores, will be formed. You should remember that. So sporophyte means it is the asexual phase of plant's life cycle. So in that the plant body is sporophytic, so that it contains two sets of chromosome in it, and it will undergo meiosis to form four spores, which are haploid in nature. In flowering plants and ferns, the sporophyte is dominant. We can see the sporophytic structure in flowering plants and in pteridophytes like ferns. But most recognized plant bodies such as but in mosses means the bryophyte. But in mosses or the lower plants, sporophyte is smaller stalk capsule that grows from the top of leaf gametophyte. Look at this picture. Where is it? Yeah. Look into this. Here you can see the gametophytic structure. Clear? Yes. Next, what is gametophyte? What is the difference between sporophyte and gametophyte? As we already discussed, sporophyte is the asexual phase of plant's life cycle. Then gametophyte is just opposite to it. It is the sexual phase of plant's life cycle. The gametophyte is haploid. It is haploid. Haploid. It is haploid. Haploid means only one set of chromosome is present in it. It is haploid. Haploid. Only one set of chromosome is present in this. It is the sexual phase and produces haploid gametes. It is a sexual phase and produces haploid gametes. It can be produced haploid. It can be produced haploid gametes. Sperm and egg through mitosis. Mitosis is the equational division. In mitosis, the chromosome number will not be reduced if when this cell undergoes mitosis. The daughter cells will have 2n. The same number of chromosomes will be present in the daughter cells also. The fusion of male and female gametes result in a diploid zygote. Okay, so this male and female gamete will fuse. The gametophyte will produce the gametes, haploid gametes, and it will fuse together to form diploid zygote, which grows into a new sporophyte. It is rotating in a plant. In higher level of plants, it is rotating like that rotation is called alternation of generation. In mosses, the leafy green plant is a dominant and longer living gametophytic phase. In mosses is a kind of bryophyte. Look at this picture. This is the gametophytic phase. This is the gametophytic phase. In ferns, the gametophyte is small. We will discuss that in that particular portion. We will discuss about ferns, then we will discuss it. Okay, so my dear students, I already told you these are the major important characteristics of bryophytes, and we have to study about two different bryophytes, that are liverworts. What are they? Liverworts and mosses. Liverworts and mosses. Liverworts are a group of simple land plant. It is a group of simple land plant, and they are typically found in moist shaded environment. It is typically found in moist and shaded environment. They are non-vascular. It doesn't have any vascular tissues on it. Okay, the xylem and the phloem is absent in it. And the name liverwort. Why that game? Why that name? Not game. Why that name liverwort? Because it has a similarity with the liver's shape. It has a similarity with the liver's shape. That is why it is called liverwort. Okay, Marchantia is one of the example for it. Okay, Marchantia is one of the example of liverworts. Liverworts. So, bryophytes is further classified into liverworts and mosses. Marchantia, one of the example of liverworts. The thallus is dorsiventral. What do you mean by dorsiventral? It has a distinct upper and lower part. Upper and lower thallus. Look at this. It has a distinct upper and lower one. This one. Lower part. That's why it is called dorsiventral. And the thallus is closely attached to the substrate. The thallus is closely attached to the substrate. This is the picture of liverworts. Okay, I will zoom it. This is how we can see it. So students, in this picture of liverworts, you can see a specialized structure. This is called gemme. This is called gemme. So asexual reproduction in liverworts take place by fragmentation. The process fragmentation occurs here, or by the formation of some specialized structure that is called gemme. This structure is called gemme. Okay, this structure inside this is called gemme. This is gemme, and this gemme is covered by a cup-like structure that is called, this green color structure is called gemme cup. I will zoom it. Yeah, here you can see this. The gemme part. This is the gemme. This is gemme. And what is this? Gemme cup. Clear? So, this is the specialized structure present in bryophytes only. This is the specialized structure present in bryophytes only, that is called gemme. So, gemme are green. Gemme are green in color. Multicellular asexual buds. Gemme are green in color. They are multicellular and asexual buds which develop in small receptacles called gemme cup. So gemme is developed inside a receptacle that is called gemme cup. The gemme becomes detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individual. Okay, after attaining a certain growth, the gemme will detach from the parent body and it will grow individually. During sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are the male and female sex organs. The male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or in the different thalli. That is what you can see in these two images. Here you can see two thallus. Okay, here you can see two thallus. The first one is male Markantia plant. The second one is female Markantia plant. You can see the two thalluses here. So, during sexual reproduction, the male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or in different thalli. Okay, here also the male, this one. Yeah, here also you can see that the male part. Yeah, this male part. This is the male structure that is anthridiophore. What is that? Anthridiophore. And this is the female structure, female sex organ that is archegoniophore. This is archegoniophore and anthridiophore. These are the rhizoids present, the structure which is present instead of roots that are called rhizoids. So these are the rhizoids present in the liverworts. Clear, Pasangala? Okay, va? Yes. So next type is mosses. What is that? Mosses. So bryophytes is of two types, that are liverworts and mosses. This is the images of mosses. Two stages of the gametophyte of mosses. Two stages of mosses is of the gametophytic stage of mosses of two types. This is the first stage and this is the second stage. The first stage is the protonema stage. It is called the protonema stage. The first stage of moss is called protonema stage, which develops directly from spores. So it is directly developed from where? It is directly developed from spore. Is directly developed from spores. Okay, the doubt it is a creeping green and filamentous stage. So the first stage, the protonema stage, is very creeping green colored and filamentous stage. And when it comes to the second stage, it is a leafy stage. Look at this picture. Here you can see the leafy structure. Leaf-like structures. Okay, so it is a leafy stage which develops from a lateral bud. It is developed from the lateral bud. What do you mean by lateral bud? The bud which is present laterally on the secondary protonema. The leaf stage has upright, slender axis with spirally arranged leaves. Here you can see that. Yes, it has a slender axis. Leaves are spirally arranged here. Clear? So this is the leafy stage, and the first image is the one I marked as picture 1 is the protonema stage. Next, vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction in mosses. Okay, it is occurs through fragmentation, budding, and secondary protonema. And the sexual reproduction involves sex organs like antheridia, archegonia, which are located at the apex of the leaf shoot, and sporophytic structure is also there. The sporophyte of mosses are well developed. Here we can see the sporophytic structure. I will erase it. Yeah. Here you can see the sporophytic structure. Yeah, this is the sporophytic structure. Sporophytic structure. So the sporophytic structure of mosses is well developed and consists of food, setae and capsule. Look at this picture. Here you can see the setae, capsule and food. These are the examples. Funaria, Polytrichum, Sphagnum. These are the examples for mosses. Clear, Pasangala? This is also very, very important and very easy to learn. Let us move to the next thing, that is Pteridophyta. What is that? Pteridophyta. Commonly it is called ferns. Commonly it is called ferns. Ferns or Pteridophyta. Ferns or Pteridophyta. ferns or pteridophyta. They are seedless vascular plants. Here comes. It is vascular plants. These are vascular plants. It contains what? It contains xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. These are the vascular tissues present in it. These are the vascular tissues present in it. Xylem and phloem is present in it, and it is seedless. It doesn't have any seeds in it. They are sporophytic. These are sporophytic. The plant body is sporophytic, and the gametophytic plant body can be noticed. It is very minute, can be noticed. So, the plant body of pteridophyte is sporophytic. Sporophytic plant body is differentiated into true stem, root, and leaves. So, the sporophytic plant body is differentiated into true stem, roots, and leaves. Vascular tissues are present, but vessels are absent. So, in the case of pteridophytes, it doesn't have any well-defined vascular tissue. It has vascular tissues, but some components are absent in it, like vessels in xylem, companion cells in sieve tube, and sieve tube in phloem are absent in pteridophytes. Sporophytes bear sporangia. There is a specialized structure present in where pteridophytes. Look at this image. Here you can see. Wait. Here you can see the image of pteridophyte. This is the image of pteridophyte. Okay. And this dot structure. Can you see this dot structure? This dot structure is called as sporangia. The spores are developing inside this sporangia. The spores are developing inside this sporangia. So what is sporangia? Sporangia produces spores by meiosis, reductional division. Okay, in spore mother cell. Spores germinate to produce multicellular thalloid structure, that is prothallus. Look at this. Here you can see the prothallus. The sporangia produces spore, and that spore is developed into what? Prothallus. This is the structure. This structure is called prothallus. It is the gametophytic part of the pteridophyte. Okay. It is the gametophytic part of the pteridophyte. Clear? Gametophyte bears male and female sex organ called antheridia and archegonia. Again. So, the gametophytic prothallus containing two type of sex organs. The first one, archegonium, the female one. And the second one, antheridium, the male part. Clear, Pasangla? Okay, va? No doubt? No. So, gametophyte bears male and female sex organ, that are antheridia and archegonia. Water is required for their fertilization. Okay, water is required for their fertilization of male and female gamete. Most of pteridophytes produces spores of similar kind. So, the spores which are similar, are called homosporous. You should remember some terms that we are repeating, because we will discuss these terms in this whole chapter. Okay, so homosporous. What do you mean by homosporous? The spores which are similar kind. Yeah. But in Selaginella is a kind of pteridophyte. In Selaginella and Salvinia, it is also another kind of pteridophyte. The spores are of two types that are called heterosporous. If the spores are similar, that kind of spores are called homosporous. What is that? Homosporous. And what do you mean by heterosporous? If the spores are not similar, that is called heterosporous. So, there are two types of spores are there. First one, the large one, the female one, that is called the megaspore. And the second one is the smaller one, the male one, that is called the microspore. One more thing, Pasangala. Pteridophytes is of four types, that are Lycopsida. These are the different types of pteridophytes. The first one, Lycopsida. The first one it is not Lycopsida, it is Coelopsida. Second one, Lycopsida. Third one, Cynopsida, Pteropsida. So this is the four types of pteridophytes, and here you can see some examples also. Okay, Coelota. It is the major example for Coelopsida. Selaginella, Lycopodium are the examples for Lycopsida. And Equisita. Equisitum is an indicator of gold. It is an example of Xenopsida. And Adiantum, Teres, Dryopteris. These are the examples for Pteropsida. We will discuss it. Coelopsida. What do you mean by Coelopsida? Coelopsida is a kind of pteridophyte. They are the primitive one. They are the primitive one. The stem is photosynthetic and dichotomously branched. Okay, so the stem of the Coelopsida is photosynthetic. Rhizoids are present. Rhizode, the root-like structures are present in it. Leaves are mostly absent in Coelopsida. The sporophyte is Homosporous synangium. So the sporophyte only produce the same kind of spores. Okay, example, Coelotum is the best example for it. Next one, Lycopsida. Lycopsida, they are commonly known as club moss. They are commonly known as club moss. Well differentiated plant body with adventitious roots. So it has well differentiated plant body. So the body of Lycopsida is divided into root, stem and leaf. And it has adventitious roots also present. Rhizophores leaves are present. And when it comes to the sporophyte, it is homosporous or heterosporous. Two types of spores are present. Either it is homosporous or heterosporous. Examples are Selaginella, Lycopodium. Next one, Xenopsida, commonly known as horsetail. This is the common name, horsetail. Okay, well differentiated. It also has well differentiated plant body with the roots arising from nodes of underground rhizome, stem and scaly leaves. Homosporous, the sporangia are borne on strobili. So it is also homosporous. What do you mean by strobili? Strobili means the group of leaves. The group of leaves. The group of leaves will be converted into a cone-like structure. That is called strobili. That is called what? That is called strobili. Examples. Equisitum is the best example. Next one, Pteropsida. Commonly called ferns. These are ferns. Well differentiated plant body with root, stem and leaves. The sporophyte is homosporous or heterosporous. Anthrozoids are multiflagellate. It has more than 2 flagella. An example, Pteris, Dryopteris, Adiantum. Clear, pasangala? Okay, va? Okay. So, let us move to the next type. That is gymnosperm. Okay, gymnosperms. These are the examples for phanerogamous plants. Phanerogamous. It has seed. So that it is placed under phanerogamous plants. Gymnosperms are those plants in which the ovules are not enclosed inside the ovary wall. So here the seeds are naked. It is not enclosed inside the ovary wall and remain exposed before and after fertilization. It remains exposed before and after the fusion of male and female gamete. They are perennial and woody. Gymnosperms plants are perennial and these plants are woody. Okay, forming either bushes or trees. It can be seen as bushes or trees. Some are very large. Very large gymnosperms are there. Sequoia. The world's largest tree, sequoia, is one of the examples for it. It is a large gymnosperm. And very small, Zamia. This is the smallest gymnosperm. Clear? Yes. Stem may be unbranched. Their stem is not branched. It is not branched. Cycas is the example. Sometimes it is branched. Pinus is the example for it. Some of the gymnosperms have branched, and some of them are not branched. Root is taproot. Taproot system is present in it. Taproot system is present in it. Leaves may be simple or compound. Leaves may be simple or compound. What do you mean by simple leaf? This is the image of a simple leaf. Only one leaf blade is present from formed from a single petiole. Formed in a single petiole. And compound leaf will look like this. The petiole is converted into a common axis where the leaves are attached. Okay, so many leaflets are present here, and this is the simple leaf. Simple leaves will look like this, simple, and this one is the compound leaf. Compound leaf. Clear, Pasangla? So leaves may be simple or compound. They are heterosporous, produce haploid microspores. So they are heterosporous means it has two types of spores. They are not similar. Haploid microspore. Microspore means the male which is present, which is formed from the male sex organ. So microspore is there and megaspore is there. Okay, microspore is there and megaspore is there. Male and female gametophytes do not have independent free living existence and pollination. Pollination occurs through air. So in gymnosperm, air is the pollination agent. Okay, pollination agent is what? Air. These are the examples. Seeds are naked. I already mentioned this point. Pinus, Cycas, Citrus, Ginkgo. These are the examples for gymnosperms. Is that clear, Pasangala? This is the last one that are angiosperms. Angiosperms. Angiosperms are mostly flowering plants. Pollen grains and ovules are developed in specialized structure called flower. So, the sex organ of angiosperm is flower. It contains a pollen grain. Pollen grain. The male reproductive part or the male gamete is present inside the pollen grain, and ovule, the female gamete. Okay. The female gamete egg is present inside the ovule. So angiosperms are the plants which are flowering, and the seeds are enclosed inside the fruit wall. Okay, seeds are enclosed inside the fruit. Seeds are present inside the fruit. They are not naked. We can't see it. Yes, size varies from almost microscopic to tall tree. Okay, so there are so many microscopic angiosperms are there. Wolffia is one of the example, and the tall angiosperm is there. Eucalyptus is one of the example of it. And the male sex organ in a flower is the stamen. The male sex organ is called the stamen. This is how we can draw the stamen. This is the stamen which is present in the angiosperm, male sex organ. And the female sex organ is called, what is female sex organ? Female sex organ is called pistil or the carpel. This is how we can draw it, pistil. Clear? Yes. These are the male and female sex organs in it. The male gamete is present inside this anther. Okay, this structure is called anther. This green colored structure is called anther. So, the male pollen grain is present inside this anther. And the female egg is present inside this. Here we can see an ovule. Ovule, the structure is present here. Inside the ovule, there is an embryo sac and the female egg is there. So, within ovules are present highly reduced female gametophyte termed embryo sac. Embryo sac. Each embryo sac has a 3-celled egg apparatus. This is how we can draw. This is how we can draw the embryo sac. Embryo sac containing what? 3-celled egg apparatus, 2 synergids. It has what? It has 2 synergids, 1 egg cell. This pink colored structure is called the synergid. This violet one is the egg. And these are called antipodals. 3 structures like this is present. Antipodals. And 2 nucleus-like structures are present. These are called polar nuclei. Polar nuclei. Okay, this is the structure of embryo sac. This is how we can draw embryo sac. Embryo sac. This one is the egg. These are called synergids. These are antipodals. And this is polar nuclei. Okay. This is the structure of an embryo sac. Okay, and in the case of angiosperms, the fertilization is called double fertilization. What is that? Double fertilization is occurs in angiosperms. அது என்னன்னு தெரியுமா? அதாவது தெரியுமா அதை பத்தி? I will explain. In double fertilization, mainly the pollen grain, the pollen grains has two gametes. It has two gametes. These are the two gametes. The pollen grain will contain two gamete in it. One of the gamete will come and fuse with the egg, and the other gamete will come through the pollen tube and fuse with the polar nuclei. Other will fuse with the polar nuclei. So two fertilization is occurs there. Okay, two processes occurs there. Is that clear, all of you? The one male gamete will fuse with the egg. The one male gamete will fuse with the egg, and that process is called zygamy. What is that? The process is called the zygamy. And the other gamete is fused with polar nuclei. You know, the male gametes, what's the ploidy of male gamete? N. Haploid. Both are haploid. And you know, the egg is also haploid. I will explain the process here. This is pollen grain containing male gamete. This is the another male gamete. It will fuse with the egg. Male gamete. To form what? Zygote. Okay, this process is called zygamy. What is that? Zygamy. And here the remaining pollen grain containing male gamete will fuse with polar nuclei. Okay, polar nuclei to form endosperm. This is different. Endosperm. What is the ploidy of endosperm? What is the ploidy of endosperm, Basangla? What is the ploidy of endosperm? Okay, so in the case of angiosperms, two types of fertilization is occur. Two processes are occurs. Okay, the first one is the zygamy. And the second one, it is a formation of endosperm. So two processes are happening inside a single embryo sac. Okay, so this is called double fertilization. This process is called double fertilization. So this is called, the formation of endosperm is also termed as triple fusion. This is zygamy, and this is again, this one is triple fusion. Clear? This is how double fertilization occurs in angiosperms. And angiosperms are of two types, Pasangala, that are monocots and dicots. Okay, angiosperms are of two types, monocots and dicots. Yes, monocots. This is the first one. This is the image of monocot, and this is a dicot plant. Monocot. What do you mean by monocot or monocotyledon? Single cotyledon is present in monocotyledonous plant. Single cotyledon. What do you mean by cotyledon? Students, cotyledons are the structure for the nourishment. Of a plant. So, in angiosperms, monocotyledons only has one cotyledon in it. Only one cotyledon for their nourishment. And in the case of dicot, it has di. What do you mean by di? It has two cotyledon. It has two cotyledons in dicot plants. It has two cotyledon. So in monocot, single cotyledon is present. In dicot, two cotyledons are present. Okay. And in the case of leaf, the venation, the arrangement of veins and veinlets in the leaf, that is called venation. The venation in monocot is parallel venation. Like, have you seen banana leaf? How banana leaves are arranged? How banana leaves are arranged? The lines are parallel. In banana leaf. Okay, so this is called parallel venation. So when we are considering a hibiscus plant, The leaf of hibiscus plants will be like this. The veins and veinlets are arranged like this. The veins and veinlets are arranged like this. So this is called reticulate venation. This type of venation is present in dicot plants. Dicot plants containing reticulate, and parallel. So reticulate venation is present in dicot plant, parallel venation is present in monocot plant. And the root system is fibrous. The root system is fibrous. What do you mean by fibrous root system? If the roots are like this, this is called fibrous root system. Most of the monocot plants have fibrous root system. In the case of dicot plants, it has a tap root system. A main primary root is there and some secondary roots will arise from the primary root. Yeah. This is how a tap root system is formed. Tap root. This is tap root and this is fibrous. Clear? Okay. And in the case of vascular bundle that is helps in the secondary growth of the plant. It will help the plant to get more thicker. Okay, that process is called secondary growth. So vascular bundle is closed in monocot plant because there is this structure that is called cambium, which is helps in the process of secondary growth. It is absent in monocotyledon. So the vascular bundles are closed here, and in the dicot plants the vascular bundles are open, the cambium is present, so the dicot plants can grow. It can undergo secondary growth. Yes, more number of vascular bundles are present in monocot, less number of vascular bundles are present in where dicots. Banana, wheat, rice are the examples for monocots. Gram, mango, apple are the examples for dicots. Clear, Pasangla? Yeah, we have to complete one more thing, that is alternation of generation. What is that? Alternation of generation. I already told you about this. I will explain it again. Okay, different plant groups complete their life cycle in different patterns. Angiosperms complete their life cycle in 2 phases. Okay, so angiosperms mostly complete their life cycles in 2 phases, like a diploid sporophytic phase is there and a haploid gametophytic phase is there. So two kind of phases are there in angiosperms life cycle. What are they? Diploid sporophytic phase and haploid gametophytic phase. The two follows each other and this phenomena is called alternation of generation. These two follow each other. Here you can see the sporophytic plant body undergo meiosis to form spore, the haploid spores. That haploid spores will undergo mitosis, the equational division, to form the gametophytic plant body. Again, the gametophytic plant body releases gametes. The gametes, these are haploid. These haploid gametes fuse together to form zygote, that is diploid. And that diploid zygote developed into a sporophyte by undergoing mitosis process. This process will be continuing. Clear? Clear, Pasangla? Okay, va? Yeah. So I will explain the process with the steps. The first one, a mature sporophyte produces haploid spore via meiosis. This is the sporophyte. This is the sporophyte in this picture will produce as spores through meiosis. A spore germinate and grow into a multicellular haploid gametophyte. And a haploid gametophyte will be formed after the germination of that particular spore. The gametophyte produces haploid gamete. This is the haploid gametes. These are the haploid gametes. Haploid gametes will be formed. Yes, the gametophyte produces haploid gamete via mitosis and 2 gametes fuse during fertilization to form diploid zygote. Again, the zygote grows into a new multicellular sporophyte via mitosis. This process will be continuing. This is called alternation of generation in angiosperms. Clear, Pasangala? Yes. So, today's session we just discussed about the plant kingdom, and the plant kingdom is further classified into cryptogamous and phanerogamous based on the presence or absence of seeds in it. Cryptogamous again classified into Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, and the phanerogamous is of two types, gymnosperms and angiosperm. We completed the chapter in a one shot. Okay, Pasangala. So see you in the next class. Don't forget to like and share my video and just comment in the comment box. Okay, bye bye. Tata.